Hi guys. It is 9:27 in the morning, and I'm coming to you today to show you that I have painted a red or burgundy canvas. Um, Canvases, as you know, are always white. Oh, there's some black, and but I usually like to paint my own background because it just makes it funner. And so today we're just gonna experiment on what what picture would go good on a red canvas. Um, because red, when you paint something like that on a canvas, it kind of makes it harder on what you want on top of it. Um, Now if you're painting a landscape thing, you have to like paint half of it whatever color, blue, white, or whatever. And then the bottom part you can paint green or whatever to make a landscape. Now, today I don't think I'm gonna make a landscape, so I'm gonna um, figure out in my mind what I'm gonna paint. Just use your mind and focus on what you're gonna paint. Everybody has a different uh, imagination, and sometimes it could be a challenge. Sometimes it could be hard. But as you know, I always paint like flowers. You can paint flowers on a red canvas, just you can't like say you want to paint red flowers. I want to do it on a red canvas. I'd be like more like yellow flowers. Because flowers have to pop out. So if you paint red on red, it's not gonna end up being very good. But I did this morning already before I went on YouTube because, of course, it looks like it still has to dry. I don't know how long it takes for acrylic to dry on canvas, but I like the color burgundy. Of course, that's not one of my favorite colors. I got like three favorite colors, and but pink and purple are usually my favorite colors, and I'm surprised I didn't paint this pink or purple. But I was thinking today, well, let's go for something different. So I went for the burgundy. So anyway, I got my little pot of paint. I mean, I got paint galore in this place, and half these I wouldn't hardly use, but I should start using all my paints before they dry out. I don't know how long acrylic paint lasts. It might last years or months, but I really don't know. Um, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go on with you guys all the time now because I have a job, part-time job though. But I'll probably be too tired for YouTube for a while. I'll be on YouTube as much as I can because I enjoy working with you guys. So anyway, I should know whether this now when you paint canvas with the stretch canvas, you always gotta make sure the sides are painted. Which kind of makes it hard for me because I can't really paint the bottom because then it gets over my easel. But I do paint the top. Um, well, I didn't paint all of it. Let me do that real quick. But make sure, because the picture, when you have a picture on your wall, you should always make sure that there's always a frame, right? So this, you have to paint the frame. I won't worry too much about the bottom of it, because especially if it's on your easel, you'll want to have it stick to the bottom. So I just paint the top and the sides, and I think it's a real pretty color. Anyway, what I just had is brown, and that's my. This white is very nice. It's a milky white. Um, I usually don't. Well, I do use just white too, but this color is nice, and I don't think Walmart has that color. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint the flower. Okay. So what you do is take brown and you paint like I'll probably paint just one flower, maybe two. You could paint as ever many flowers you want to paint. Now see how that turns out. It's kind of, I think it's kind of wet, so I should wait till it dries. And then I'll make another one over here. Don't make them too close together, the flowers, because then they'll be overlapped, unless you want it overlapped, which kind of is harder to overlap them. There's my flower middle. Now, like I said, you don't want to put red on red because then it just messes up. But with flowers, you can use orange. I usually use, well, actually, the yellow would really be good with, yeah. And, yeah, I might just paint the flowers yellow. And you could use the same brush or you can use a different brush. Use a brush that you're comfortable with. Don't use a brush that you're not. I got tons and tons of brushes, and a lot of them I'm not comfortable with, so I don't really use them, but I use them just to play around sometimes. Now these brushes I don't like too much. These ones are kind of real, as you could tell, they're real hard. I don't know why they're so hard. I just don't use those too much. So now, what you want to do? I just put paint, or I just put paint on my palette as I go. I don't put paint on my palette before I do my video, so I figure it's better to do it as you go. I'm gonna paint petals. There's one petal. Now with flowers, I used to not be able to really paint them as good, but it's a learning process. Everything you paint is a learning process. And don't give up hope if you don't paint it right the first time. Always kind of make your petals pointed at the end, like so. Just makes it more look like a flower. And I think I'll be overlapping. Well, I guess that's okay. It's okay if you overlap a little bit. I mean, I try not to overlap my flowers because it doesn't look right. Well, this one might be a little smaller. Or just make one smaller and one bigger, or whatever. It's your painting, and you can fix it however you want. Now, in my painting, I always made plenty of mistakes, so don't feel bad if you make a mistake, because every one of us makes mistakes. Not everyone's perfect. Of course, in life, you're never perfect. So, one more petal. See how I make one smaller than the other? And then all you do is color it in, like so. Believe me, when I learned how to do this stuff, I was learning off YouTube. I didn't, I didn't go to class or anything to get taught. I learned off YouTube, artists on YouTube. And that's a good way to go. Why go to college and spend all this money learning and you don't get nowhere? So basically, you get a lot of knowledge on YouTube, believe it or not. And there's a couple artists I follow. I follow Alison Pryor, and I follow Michelle. She's another good one. They're all pretty good. Both of them are actually good. Um, but I know I probably will not ever. Well, maybe I'll be a professional artist one day. It just takes a lot of work, time. Anybody can be professional at anything if they put their mind to it. So I shouldn't really say I'm not going to be professional because I feel like I'm getting better at painting than I used to. I mean, when I first started painting, I was not really talented. I mean, my paintings were not that wonderful like they are now. So as you can see, I'm painting all the petals. And if you want to, you can always paint another. You can always paint over that in like a lighter yellow, maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Just to highlight it a little bit. See how that works. I want to cover the whole part yellow. Now this one I like. The one I did on YouTube yesterday. I ended up redoing the whole thing because it wasn't. I didn't like it for one, and two, it was a cat, and cats are not very easy to paint. It might be easy for some people, but and I love to paint animals. I love to learn how to paint. Well, I learned some, but it's real hard to paint animals. Now, as you can see, as I did my flowers, see how the background just is nice. The flowers end up popping out. That's how it should be. Um, so you don't have to have a whole lot of stuff behind your flowers. I mean, you can if you want. Like I said, it's your painting. You can do whatever you want to do. Um, I try not to tell people if they have to do this or they have to do that. And I try not to judge people either. That's a bad thing to judge people and how they paint or whatever. So now I'm going to make stems. That's an important part of the flower. And I'm going to make some, hopefully I can make leaves. Leaves are kind of hard for me too. And that one turned out pretty good. Yeah, leaves and flowers may be a little bit tricky for some people. But just on the note, just take your time. If you take your time, you'll you'll surprise yourself. Me, I usually just rush through everything, and it's hard for me to take my time sometimes. But I'm getting better at it, though. I really am. So now, let's see what else can we add to it. If you want, you could add some grass. That I mean, I'm not fully getting landscape, but before I started painting, I was doodling on a piece of paper. I was making designs, just playing around, and then I started watching people paint on YouTube, and I was like very impressed. And I was very impressed. I wanted to try it myself, and I tried it, and I started really getting into it. Of course, it took me a while to get on YouTube, though. I wasn't on YouTube right after I started painting. It took me a while. So don't feel that you have to do everything all at once. If you want to paint but don't want to be on YouTube, that's fine too. Um, Sometimes it's a challenge to get on YouTube because you don't know who's watching or who's paying attention. So if you want, you can add another layer to all this if you want to. I usually don't, especially to the I kind of went over the background again. Um, Made it a little bit thicker, but you don't have to do that if you don't want. It's totally up to you. The ball's in your court, so it's like I don't really tell people how to do this or how to do that. I'm pretty much a laid back person. I just let them do their own thing. So, as you can see, I added grass, and if you want to, you can put yellow grass. It's kind of a fall picture, so kind of, maybe not. But I got I gotta show you guys a fall picture another time. You can add yellow to the grass. This grass, well, of course there is no grass in the fall, but it can turn different colors. Grass can. Actually, you know what? I should make a tree. I'm not gonna make a tree, because then it's too much. Um, I'm just thinking what else I can make, because I don't want to make the canvas too full, because the flowers take up half the canvas. So, um, anybody likes to buy a painting? The- I I charge $30 for every painting in here, except for the huge ones. I charge like 40, 45, because I'm having a hard time selling my paintings for some reason. But um, let's see, what else can I make? Ooh, I can make a butterfly, but let me see. I'm not very good with butterflies, but I can try. Take your little tiny brush, and I can put one right up here. brown. Use brown. Okay, and then I'm gonna make his wings. I'm gonna make him go this way. Hey, that turned out pretty good. See, I can make butterflies on the side. I just can't make them when they're in front. But I can make them on the side. Of course, you can't really see that, can you? Um, make some, put some white on him. Turned out pretty good for a butterfly. See, I amaze myself sometimes. I really do. And just wing a little bit bigger. Whatever painting you have, you can modify it however you want. Um, I usually make pictures either bigger, smaller. Like the butterfly, I'm kind of making his wings a little bit bigger. But um, body, it's a big body, but oh well. Anyway, like I said, I don't really know how to make a butterfly the way I want it, but I think it's still cute. So just use your imagination with a lot of your paintings if you paint. Even if you do crafts, use your imagination because it's good to know that you can use your imagination for things. Um, but yeah, that's. I wonder if I should add. I'm thinking if I should add orange. I could add it down here. Um, I might do that. Now try to not put too much paint on your palette, which I have a habit of doing, which I never think it's that much, but it's hard not to put a lot of paint because you know how much you are using. Because you can't really save the paint either. So I'm gonna do it like this. I'm trying to put my hand in the paint. See how I do that? I just kind of follow the. Now you don't have to do what I do. I just prefer to do it this way because it's more like a shadow, highlight, whatever. The reason why I'm not talking now is because I'm trying to concentrate on this. It takes a lot of concentration to do flowers. It might not seem like it, but it does. Now, usually with flowers, I usually do landscapes with it, but I'm not going to this time because the flowers take up the whole. I know how I do landscapes with flowers, but I think what I do is make this. If you do a landscape with flowers, it's better to make the flowers smaller. That way you can put a house or whatever, mountains. Looks pretty, huh? I like it. So basically, that's how a flower is. You just like make it pointed, like at the ends you make them pointed. Pretty, huh? It's really pretty. I like flowers. I like painting them. I like smelling them. This one I did yesterday, and I used kind of a pink orange background, and those are supposed to be flowers. But I might have to do that over again and make them look more like flowers. Because right now I put too much white on these flowers, but either way, it doesn't really matter how you paint stuff. It'll look good either way. So I might just paint another butterfly down here. Get a smaller brush. Always make sure when you paint wings with anything, use a smaller brush because it's a lot better that way. And this fellow's gonna be flying. Like I said earlier, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Because everybody I know makes mistakes. Of course, when I first started painting, I was like, mistakes all the time. But then I'm like, well, everybody makes them. So you can either sit and whine about it or you can just correct it. And I usually correct the mistakes. I used to just sit and whine about it when I first started painting. And now it's like it does affect me now. See how I put the how I make the butterflies look 100%. Now where's gray? What I'm gonna do is kind of use gray. Hopefully, let me see. I need something sharp to poke this. Uh, excuse me, guys. Sometimes your paint will dry on your lid, so just poke it out, and it should be good. Of course, I just use scissors, but just, like I said, just put a little, very tiny bit on your palette, because paper towel. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I do pretty good at butterflies if they're flying. If they're just still, then I can't do two wings at once. But Let's see what else. Oh, I can make a rock. That's a good idea. Make a rock over here. Big rock. Actually, I should have made a rock before I made the flowers. Or the, oh well, I'll just paint over it. See, that's sometimes how I think. I should have made the rock before I made the flowers, but it just showed up in my mind. So that happens. If that happens, that's fine. You can always still go over the grass, just paint alongside of it like that. See? And now use brown to fill in. When you put brown on it, don't press your brush too hard because you want to make sure that the brown shows and the gray shows. There's one. I'm gonna make another one over here, but I'm gonna make a smaller one. As you can see with rocks, they can be any size or form. Rocks can be big, they can be small, they can be any size. Now, try to use up all the paint that's on my palette so I can. And the orange can go right here on top. I don't think you have to use white for highlight. You can use orange too. Of course, a lot of people use white, but orange can be a highlight too, I think. Orange is a pretty highlight. I know I keep repeating myself over and over and over again, and I'm sorry about that. I've been doing that for a long time, repeating myself. And I just want to make sure you guys know about my painting and how to paint and stuff. So, it's been a long video. Anyway, there's my flowers, my grass, my rocks, my butterflies. And like I said, you don't have to have the background blue, white, or whatever. You can have it one color if you want. I mean, it, it's up to you. It's totally up to you. You can make a landscape to where you have sky, clouds, which I usually do. I usually do make landscapes, but I want to make something different today because it gets kind of boring doing the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, no, painting isn't boring, but it's like repeat another rock. I just love rocks now that I know how to paint them. Now, rocks can kind of overlap each other. Down here. They can kind of overlap each other if you want them to. I mean, because they're pretty much all pretty big rocks. So that one's really overlapped. you're overlapping something like that, you gotta make sure people know that it's a separate rock. It be kind of challenging sometimes. Make another rock here, little tiny one. Now, if you go over your grass, that's fine. Um, hey, sorry guys, that's my dogs. Bark here and there, but I guess every dog does. So, um, okay guys, Gino. Okay. Yeah, I have two dogs. And I don't want to get into that, but they drive me nuts. Pretty sad, but they do. Um, so you can paint a pretty picture like this. I can get it out. Anyway, so oops. You can paint a pretty picture like that. And anyway, I guess that's it. All I have for now. Have a good day. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye now. Guys, quit it. Knock it off.